The truth is, the natural world is changing, and we are totally dependent on that world. It provides us our food, water, and air. It is the most precious thing we have, and we have to defend it. Sir David Attenborough. Earth, wind, fire, and water. Sound familiar? Those are the four elements postulated by the ancient Greeks in around 450 BC. So yes, a long time ago. And essentially what it says is that all matter is made up of those four elements. So, what have we humans done? Well, we've pushed the tipping point to a place of no return. Or so they say. Our beautiful planet Earth is a kaleidoscope of species, vast mountain ranges, verdant forests, and living oceans. As humans, we are the caretakers of this planet and the custodians of its wildlife for future generations. Ever since the age of 5, I've been passionate about wildlife and conservation, and I cannot and will not imagine a world without an elephant, a rhino, a macaw, or even a whale. But if you've been following the news over the past couple of months, climate change and the imperative for us to act now have been highlighted by many, including the UN Secretary General. One of the key contributors is loss of green space. A Reuters 2019 report highlighted that the US lost 24 million acres of green space in just under 2 decades. Every day, 6,000 acres of green space is cleared the world over. To provide context, that's like losing 3% of Singapore's total land area every single day. The World Wildlife Fund estimated that from 1970 to 2010, we may have seen a staggering decline of 52% in the world's wildlife populations. Sharing space with wildlife is fraught with conflict because it can impact human lives and livelihoods. And in the urban context, that situation is becoming ever so prevalent. A UN report suggested that 55% of the world's population lives in urban areas. That number is only going to go up to 68% in 2050, which means we can gain an additional 13%, which is bound to lead to the further destruction, degradation, and fragmentation of animal habitat. The world is gradually waking up to the effects of climate change and its devastating impact on our plant and animal friends. Awareness and communication are key tools that we use to drive change. We've all heard of the slogan, reduce, reuse, and recycle. It's a slogan that's powered behavior changes, product and packaging changes, and it's sparked technological innovations for a sustainable future. But now, we have a fourth lever to use, rewilding. Rewilding refers to a comprehensive conservation effort to restore sustainable biodiversity by protecting core areas, the corridors between core areas, and reintroducing carnivorous and keystone species back into the urban world. In other words, rewilding is not just about more plants, more animals. It's also about using nature-based solutions, like vertical farming or skylights. So now you're wondering, why is urban wildlife important? Well, urban wildlife is important for a variety of reasons. Firstly, pollinators, like insects, birds, bats, help plant propagation and help further enrich our ecosystems. Speaking of ecosystems, urban wildlife helps propagate ecosystems and ecosystem health. Think about it. Songbirds control insect populations, and predatory birds control rodents and pest populations. Urban wildlife and rewilding can help us reduce the urban heating effect, as the use of nature-based solutions will cool urban temperatures. And finally, urban wildlife brings about a sense of calm because it gives you the idea of being in the wild. It will bring a smile to your face. So managing space between humans and animals is critical to our coexistence. Because remember, guys, conservation is not about creating barriers and enclosures, but in reality, it's about promoting coexistence and harmony. A report released last year by the UNEP and the World Wildlife Fund showed and provided an integrative and holistic approach as to how we can mitigate human-wildlife conflict. The report also provided case studies where these approaches have been used to move from conflict to coexistence. For instance, the implementation of predator-proof enclosures to protect livestock, thereby reducing retaliatory killings of jaguars and pumas in Latin America. And using early warning systems like through mobile phones and digital boards, helpfully reducing human-elephant conflict in India. In the urban context, constructive action to mitigate human-wildlife conflict is underway. With the creation of bear smart communities in British Columbia, residents are now more aware of bear behavior, and through the use of bear-resistant garbage containers, they've also protected grizzly and black bear populations in the area. So this integrated, community-led approach has helped promote human and bear coexistence in Canada. Our city, Singapore, is at the forefront of this movement, positioning itself as a city in nature. Guys, we have more than 90 miles of natural space and canopied corridors that mimic layers of the ecosystem using shrub, understory, canopy, and so much more, providing habitats for different species. In addition to that, we're also building Tena, the forest city, with a 5-kilometer, 100-meter wide passageway facilitating the safe movement of wildlife. Furthermore, the Urban Wildlife Working Group set up Our Wildlife Neighbors in April 2022. This multi-stakeholder initiative was aimed at promoting coexistence between humans and animals, and through empowering the public on wildlife knowledge and etiquette, and educating them on ongoing rescue, rehabilitation, and release programs. Member organizations conduct outreach programs where they provide pragmatic tips for condos and the public as to how to avoid human-wildlife conflict. Take OtterWatch, for instance. It's a group of citizen scientists who spend their entire day in Singapore looking around at otter families, tracking and monitoring them the whole day. Thanks to their concerted efforts, otter populations have rose from 0 to 150 in the past 30 years. And now you're thinking, whoa, this is really, really awesome. But how can I help? Well, you can. Firstly, contribute. Contribute to wildlife causes. Donate. WWF has created its own site for fundraising. You can start a fundraiser. Conserve water and energy. Use more reusables. Cut the strings of your mask when you dispose of them. There are so many things that can be done. And even though they're small, they help contribute to a bigger, and believe me, a much better picture. Secondly, raise awareness. Spread the word. Talk with your friends. Post on your social media. Social media is a powerful catalyst for change and will definitely help get this message across. For me, I post on my social media about rewilding, urban wildlife success stories, and most of all, how we can play our part. Finally, volunteer. I used to volunteer at Acres, and I'm currently volunteering at the Singapore Zoo. Take it from me, you will gain so much knowledge about wildlife and conservation simply because of the first-hand experience you've gained through volunteering. In addition to all this, I feel that we need to incorporate knowledge about local wildlife into our primary and secondary education. You see, in grade 10, for my personal project, I created a book for children on wildlife, simply using fun facts, stories, and puzzles. Why? To spark interest and ignite curiosity. I believe we have a great chance at securing a much better future for our planet if we teach them young. As kids, we're taught safety, health, respect for cultures, respect for one another. Why not inculcate a love for nature at an early age so that it becomes part of our ethos and our value systems? So, let us rewild our world and reintroduce a kaleidoscope of colors back into the urban jungle. Because remember, everyone, you don't have to go to wild spaces to be connected to nature. Thank you so much for listening.